Gary Neville joins us from the gantry as well. Gary, the guys were talking about the quality of performance for Manchester United. Yes, they took all 3 points, but what did you make of it?
Yeah, it wasn't a good performance. I think against any other team in the league, I think that would have caused them real problems. They go to Brentford on Tuesday night and they're going to have to play better than that, else they will get beat. But I do think they will. I'll be really interested to see Ralph Rangnick's interview to see whether it was... They have done a really hard week of training, whether that was just a sort of result of that and whether he took a little bit of a chance with today's game, knowing they could probably get through it, or whether they actually told them before the game that he wanted them to sit off a little bit more. He didn't want them to press. We were told before the first game and all week that Manchester United would be high energy, high press. That didn't exist today, and I just thought it'd be interesting to understand why. But the most important thing for United was the 3 points and the clean sheet. I think he'll take that week all day long. 2 Premier League wins, 2 clean sheets, seeing all the other players play on in Europe in the week as well. So I think he'll see it as a good week, but they will have to improve a lot from that type of performance to get anything in the next games.
As you say, we'll get a better idea of why there were those differences between the Palace performance and this one. But same starting 11, same formation. What differences did you see?
Honestly, it was a really strange one to understand what happened out there today on the ball and off the ball. You know, those players have had a free week to be able to prepare, so I was expecting a ferociously frantic start to the game with really high pressing, loads of quick play, and it was lethargic, like you say, from minute one. On the ball, they were so sloppy, it was untrue. I mean, they just gave it away so many times. It was unbelievable. And like I say, I think any other team in the league there playing against Manchester United today probably at least gets a point, but maybe wins that game.
Talking about the importance of clean sheets, it's the first time they've had successive clean sheets in the Premier League, Gary, since March. Was that down to great defending by Manchester United? I mean, obviously you gave David De Gea man of the match, or was it poor finishing from Norwich?
No, it was Norwich's lack of quality that Manchester United kept a clean sheet on today. Last week against Crystal Palace, I think Crystal Palace had one moment in the game, but it was a really confident defensive performance. There's a good structure to them. They prevented chances, they sustained attacks and stopped the counter-attack. Today, I thought that any other team in the league that had anything more about them in terms of quality would have cut through Manchester United. There were spaces there in wide areas, and then even in the second half, they were getting through the middle of them. But Norwich just didn't have the ruthlessness or, like you say, that final piece to be able to finish Manchester United off. So today I think it was a clean sheet by the fact that the goalkeepers made a few saves and the team that they were playing against are the worst in the league in an attacking sense.
Jamie and Dion, you've both played under various managers. You know, as Gary was saying, it is a really good first week in terms of the results for Ralph Rangnick. How much of it and how much confidence can the squad take under Rangnick just from getting the results, even if the performance isn't there?
Of course, that's what you know, when you start the game, you want to get the 3 points, but you also look at the performances as well. And we've obviously seen a lot of poor performances from United today. The system that they're playing, because the players make the system. When you look at how they're playing right now, it has to be right for the players you've got there. Whether you play 3 at the back, 4 at the back, 4-4-2, 3-5-2, whatever it is. If you've got the right players, Chelsea is a good example, they play a system because they've got the right personnel to play it. When you play that way that United do, it has to fit and tailor to the players. The 2 in midfield, I think, work hard. I don't see enough quality at times from them, but the 2 wide players, right now, when I look at how that system works with Sancho and Fernandes, it doesn't feel right at the moment. Now, it might be a case where Paul Pogba played for Juventus in a system, they played in the 3, but he played on that inside left. It might suit him to be one of those players if he's got the 2 there. But I feel that whoever it is has to run. They've got to run, they've got to chase, because you're going to leave the team really isolated, because not many teams play over 2 up front. So if you're going to have a Ronaldo and a Rashford, who I thought was very disappointing today, or a Greenwood, whoever it is up front, they have to work in tandem. And the amount of times it was too easy for Norwich to get out, like Gary said, the full-backs would get out the other side. You play against a good side that's got a Cancelo or a Robertson, they will keep getting down the side and they will punish you. The only reason they get punished today was, as Gary said, the quality wasn't there.
So the Man United fans have travelled a long way today. And if they don't get that penalty, they're going home disappointed because they haven't seen anything from their team. They haven't seen any good football. They haven't seen any good squeezing. They haven't seen any good defending. They've not seen anything good apart from the result. Man United players as individuals have to start pointing at each other and start saying that's not good enough, because at the moment, Jamie mentioned it, old habits, they're doing bad things and then they're not getting punished because they're doing bad things. It's been accepted. And it's been happening at Man United for a very long time. They have to start to look at their own game and Blood, sweat and tears is what I say. Just give me blood, sweat and tears. They've got the quality, Man United, but just give me blood, sweat and tears. You're wearing a Man United shirt.
You talked about those Manchester United fans having made that long journey and that difficult journey from Manchester to Norwich. Gary's going to be making that journey in reverse very shortly. So before you go, Gary, I just want to get your thoughts on 3 games under Ralph Rangnick, and then obviously the game previously where he was overseeing from a distance when Michael Carrick was in charge. What do you see in that time?
A manager who's just trying to embed his principles, and I think that if he'd have said to him before that first game against Crystal Palace last week, you'll have 2 Premier League wins, you'll have 2 clean sheets, and you'll get an opportunity to see all your players in Europe, he'd just snap your hand off. And I think I have to say, the one thing that Ralph Rangnick had to try and fix first was the defensive problems and make them tougher to play against. I don't think they were tough to play against today. The big mystery of today, for me, was why Manchester United was so lacking in energy. I thought they would be a lot better than that, particularly out of the fact that the players who were out on that pitch have had a free week all to prepare for this match. So a little bit of a mystery in terms of today's game. We'll know a little bit more on Tuesday night, as will Ralph Rangnick. He's still finding out about his players. I do think there'll be a problem with this system when they play against teams with good fullbacks who've got more quality, because Dalot and Tellez will basically get exposed, because Fernandes and Sancho won't be able to get out in time by the time, like you say, a Cancelo or a Robertson or Trent Alexander-Arnold have run down that wing. But they've got a few months before they play against those players, and I think by then they'll obviously have changed things around a little bit. He'll have got to know the players, but I think it's been a good start from the fact that they've won both games. They needed to win games and build a confidence in the new coach.
Gary, thanks very much for joining us. Hope the traffic's kind to you.